Hello, am I audible? Kindly let me know, please. Yes, okay. Okay, thank you so much. So let's start with today's lecture. As you can see, we are going to cover these topics for the day. The first two topics, first one I have already started with, that is DFA minimization by box method. So I will again go through it step by step because it's a little tricky as compared to your previous one. The previous one was simple, but it was lengthy. But this particular method is simple enough again, but it's little complex if you mess up with the steps. Okay, the ordering of the steps are important. It has got a particular algorithm which you need to follow to come to a conclusion. Obviously, very few questions have been asked so far on this particular method, box method to be specific. Okay, so I am not going to focus a lot on this. I have highlighted only one question for you. I will obviously give you some questions for homework, but as it is not asked too much in the exams, so I am not focusing on this particular method a lot. I have already shown you how to minimize a DFA in the previous method, that is classical method, that is conversion of an RE into an NFA first, and from that NFA a DFA. Clear with that? Okay, so I hope there is no doubt still left in the previous method. If you're still having any doubts, kindly let me know. I can quickly brush it up and then move on with today's lecture. If you're having any doubts with the with the previous lecture with the previous method, then kindly let me know. We still have some time. If you want me to revise it quickly, I can do so, and then we can start with today's proceedings. Or else I can directly jump with what is being shown in front of you. Okay, kindly let me know because your inputs are important. Based on that, I can pace my lectures. Are you fine with the previous method? Any explanation further required? Kindly let me know, or I can start with today's lectures, today's topics. I had given a homework question. Have you attempted that? Kindly let me know. A closure plus B closure, whole closure. I have not solved it, Dhruv. We can check it if you want. I can only draw the diagram if you wish. Rest, everyone can do it. Okay. So let me show the diagram. And if the diagram is correct, you are knowing how to solve the questions, right? So let's start with the diagram. It is starting with A closure. So I will be starting something like this. It is A closure. So this is one loop and this is the other loop. I'm drawing it in rough. Okay. So it is A closure plus B closure. So B closure will be somewhere beneath it. This is B closure. Kindly put the epsilons wherever they are applicable. Okay. Now it is A closure plus B closure. So there will be one more state in front of it and one state just after the combination over here. So this is A closure plus B closure. Now this is the question is asking about entire whole closure. So again, I would need one state at the beginning and one state at the end. Okay, so this is A closure plus B closure, whole closure. Here now you can count the states starting with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is 12 states. Okay, so this can be done in 12 states. Clear with this? If you're done with the diagram, then it's really a cakewalk for you because everything we have done so far, how to solve the first table, how to convert that first table into a DFA table, and if there is any minimization possible, then we can proceed with the minimization and finally draw the final diagram. So clear with this? These are the 12 states we got. Can we move ahead? It's a new topic. After minimization, one state. Okay, you're getting the answer in one state. I need to check it. I haven't solved it. I will check it and let you know later. Okay. What about others? You can also try to solve it. This was your homework. Okay, solve it and kindly let me know. If we get time, we can solve it towards the end of the lecture. Okay. So let's start with today's topic. That is DFA minimization using box method. Okay, path is also getting in one state. It's quite possible. It's possible, no issues with that. Don't think you're wrong. Okay. So let's start with today's topic, which is DFA minimization using box method. As I had told you, the very first step is straight away look into the diagram. Whichever state you feel, whichever state you see is not having any incoming transition, or whichever state is not uh, reachable from the initial state, has to be eliminated. Now, it is not always mandatory कि एक ही state आएगा. There can be multiple states also. In this case, we are having a single state F, which is not reachable from the start state A. So we remove that F from the main diagram. So we are left with five states. So this is your step number one. We remove state F as it is not reachable from the start state. What about step number two? Step number two is very simple. Whatever five states you're having, you have to convert that into a table, which we are used to, right? So this is the table which corresponds to all those five states. Now, step number three is very simple. You need to create a box-like structure. That is why it's called a box method. I also told you what exactly is this box all about. We want to uh, take into consideration all the combinations of the states. That's why we are opting for this particular scenario. Over here, along the rows, drop the first state, that is the initial state, and write the remaining states. Over here, along the columns, drop the last state, whichever is the last state, whether it's a final state or non-final state, it doesn't matter. Whichever is the last state, drop it from this, and you will get a 4 by 4 matrix sort of a thing. Okay, I'm not writing it, I'm not completing it, because if we complete it, everything will start repeating once again. You will see BA over here, and we already have a combination of BA over here. So we don't need that particular state. Why 4 by 4? Because I had told you that it is considering it is basically it is covering all the various states using this 4 by 4 matrix itself. So uh, we are not faltering. We are not basically affecting the efficiency of the machine, because if we go for 5 by 5, it is also valid, but again the efficiency reduces. That's why no, I don't think 3 by 3 can be used for this. You can try. I don't think 3 by 3 is sufficient enough to cover all the various states. Kindly do it, and if it's possible, kindly let me know. I don't think so 3 by 3 can cover all the states possible. A, B, C, and C, D, E. Okay, try it out and then let me know. Okay. For the time being, we are sticking to this. If you are able to solve it with a different logic, you're more than welcome. Okay, with a better and efficient logic. Okay, then it's welcome. Otherwise, kindly stick to this. Okay, because I'm just following the algorithm, what is being followed for several years. Okay, according to that algorithm, they have used this. So this is how we get it. Yeah, Pratik, it is very low. That's why I'm just showing with the help of one example only. The probability is very low. Out of 10 papers, might be it will be asked in. It has been asked basically in one or two papers, and so in so many papers that have happened so far. So out of all those papers, I'm having 7 to 8 papers. Out of those, only once or twice this particular question has been asked. That too along with options. So probability is very low for this particular question, but still we can't take any chances. That's why I'm covering this topic. But I'm not focusing much on this particular topic. I'm not giving n number of questions for you to solve this. I will give one or two homework questions. You can try it out on your in your Google Classroom. I will provide all the questions. You can try it out, right? So let's, for the time being, stick to this 4 by 4 matrix. If at all if anything efficient is possible, kindly let me know. We can try it out later. Okay, so this is all about step number three. Step number three में ये बोला गया है कि wherever there is one final state and one non-final state, you have to mark it as one. As you can see over here, I have marked AE, BE, DE, AC. You can call it AC or CA, both are same. Okay, because it's just about the intersection. Okay, AC, BC, and CD. Everything else will be unmarked, or only these much cells will be marked with a 1, because this is what is being asked or mentioned in the algorithm. Clear with this? Yes, Jay, that is what I'm doing right now. I'm revising all these steps. Yep. So this is what is all about in step number three. Wherever there is an intersection, wherever there is an intersection between a final state and a non-final state, all those cells will be marked by a one. That is what is being asked in the algorithm. Okay. Now, what about step number four? This is the most trickiest step, and I am going to focus a lot on this particular step only. So, for the remaining unmarked cells, perform the following check. Now, this is what is happening. Jimit, how will you come to know whether 3 by 3 is invalid? Just check the final diagram. Okay, whatever we are getting at the end, because whatever diagram I'm getting at the end, that is the most efficient one. You can't have a minimized diagram further. Okay, so just compare your answer with mine, and then you will come to know whether your logic is correct or not. Okay. So, as Jay is asking, can you again repeat it from the beginning? It's very simple, Jay. Simply have a look at it. The diagram is given in front of you. The first step is all about removing all those states. Those are not reachable from the start state. Over here, F is not reachable from the start state. You can see it clearly that there is no incoming transitions on F, either directly or indirectly. So we remove the state F from the initial diagram. This is all about step one. Step two is all about converting that diagram into a table. This is how we have got the table. And step three is all about creating this pyramid sort of structure, which is known as the box. That is why the box method. Wherever there is an intersection between a final state and a non-final state, we have to mark that intersection with a 1. Otherwise, everywhere it will be a 0. Clear with this? I have revised all the steps so far. Still, till step number 3, we have completed. Now, let me start with step number 4. That is the most important step. Over here, what happens is, for the remaining unmarked cells, perform the check. What is this check all about? So it has got its sub steps. So have a look at 4.1. This is nothing but 4.1. I'm writing it down over here. You can simply cross check. This is 4.1, this is 4.2, this is 4.3, and this is 4.4. So right now I'm referring to 4.1. Let PQ be P comma Q be an unmarked cell, and let small a be some input symbol. So over here, what are the unmarked cells? You can simply refer this box over here. I'm starting like this. I'm starting with this intersection EC, or you can call it CE. Okay. So right now this is my P comma Q. If I consider EC or even if CE, those will be my P comma Q respectively. And A is nothing but the input. Over here we are having inputs in terms of zeros and ones. So it will be P on 0 and Q on 0. Clear with this? Now let's check your algorithm. The algorithm is like this. If Let P comma Q be an unmarked cell and let A be some symbol. So over here we have selected the particular cells C comma E. So if C comma E is the unmarked cell, I can consider this as P and I can consider this as Q. Clear with this? So basically, now start following the step 4.2. 4.2 is all about if transition of P comma A, where A is nothing but your input, right? So if transition of P comma A gives some value R, okay, so that R is nothing but a state only. So if transition of P comma A. Over here, what is our P? Our P is C or E. Okay, so I'm sticking with CE. It becomes C comma 0. Similarly, check this. It is transition of Q comma A. Now Q is nothing but E in my case, so it becomes something like this. Are you following me? Okay, kindly let me know if this is clear so that I can move ahead. I'm simply following the algorithm. Okay, transition of P comma A is R. If at all transition of P comma A is R or Q comma A is R, that is what we need to find out. Now, kindly check your tables. If you have taken the screenshot, it's well and good, because I would have to keep on going here and there again and again. So it's basically C on 0 and E on 0. So both are B, right? You can see from the table C comma 0 and E comma 0 both are B. So simply write down B over here. I'm just showing it for demonstration purpose, I will actually tell you how to write it step by step. So this is what I got. Okay, both the transitions are same. If you see carefully, yes or no, both the transitions are same. That is, P P on A gives B, Q on A again gives B. So if both of them are same, then we can't take any decision. That is what is being written over here. No decision can be taken. So we move on to step number 4.3. We again check whether for a different input, for example, over here, what we can do is we will now check it for a different input. We are also having an input A, sorry, input 1, right? So what we are going to do is we will now check for input 1 if that is any different value or not. We'll again check it C on 1 and E on 1. Kindly check your table and then let me know if both are same or different. C on 1. What is it? C on 1 is C, E on 1 is again C. Both are same. So we have completed our 4.1 step as both of them are same in this case. So we can't take any decision for which particular cell I'm talking about. We are talking about cell C comma E. Okay. So now you can go back to your box and you know that C comma E cannot be marked right now. So for that, for the time being, I'm just highlighting it with a cross. That C comma E cannot be highlighted or it cannot be marked with any value right now. So for the time being, I'm putting a cross over there. You can use a pencil to make a cross for the for temporary purpose. You can then move on and then check if any other uh, operation is possible or not. Okay, यहाँ तक समझा सबको clear till here. So now see how you should write it. Step number 4 is like this. You have to write it like this for the cell C comma E. We have to mention what is P, what is Q, so that we can follow our algorithm. So the same thing I have written C comma 0 is B, E comma 0 is B, again C comma 1 is C, E comma 1 is C. So no decisions can be taken as both the transitions are same. Clear with this? Now you can move on with any other cell. For this purpose, I have taken BD over here. I'm going bottom up. You can go in any order, any random fashion if you wish. So I have taken the cell BD now. You can check, you have to again repeat the same formula. You have to check the transition of B on 0, D on 0. If you see your table, B on 0 and D on 0 both gives me answer as B. That's why, again, both are same. Can any decision be taken? No. According to our algorithm, we can't take any decision for this particular input. But check for the next input, that is B comma 1 and D comma 1. If I check the table, B comma 1 is giving me answer as D and D comma 1 is giving me answer as E. Okay. Now what to do? As both of the outputs are different, now kindly tell me what we should do. We have so far seen in the algorithm till step number 4.1. Now we will go back and see whether any other algorithm steps are present or not. Okay. So now what is happening? B on 1 is giving me answer as D and D on 1 is giving me answer as E. So both of them are different. Now check your algorithm. Your algorithm says in step number 4.2 that if, sorry, 4.3, that if P comma A is R and Q comma A is S, that is a different value, both are not same, then what we can do is, then we have to check whether this R comma S is marked or not. Are you understanding what I'm saying? जो भी आपको आंसर मिलेगा on P comma A and Q comma A, you have to compare that. For example, you got R in the first case, S in the second case. You have to check whether R comma S intersection is marked in your box or not. समझा इतना? Yes or no? Kindly let me know. You have to check whether the result which we are getting, that is over here we got D and E. So for the time being, I can assume that this is R and this is S. So I will check whether this R comma S is marked or not. With marked, I mean it can be either a 1, it can be either a 2 also. Okay, so just check your box. R comma S, that is D comma E. D comma E is marked or not. You can check over here D comma E that is present over here if I'm not wrong. It can be called as D comma E or E comma D, both are same. As D comma E is marked, what we can do is we were discussing about which cell. Kindly go back. We were discussing about cell B comma D. Are you understanding? Are you with me? Kindly let me know. This is the most confusing part. Okay. Kindly let me know if you're following this. In the meantime, let me answer Jimit's question. Do we have to name like this only, that is vertical side excluding first state, horizontal side? Jimit, what exactly happened is I tried the other way around, but I didn't get the answer correctly. So kindly stick to this. This will give you the correct answers because there is no predefined method which we can follow in this particular question, but this all have been found out with practice. So what I have mentioned over here is all after I have made some trial and error and got this particular answer with me. Okay, so you can try out different things, but for me, I didn't get a perfect answer if I swap the positions with columns and rows. So this I have got with practice. Okay, so you can do this and then let me know. Okay, for others, kindly let me know if you got this step 4.3 or not. In this previous case, b comma both these values were same, so we can't take any decisions. But with input 1, we saw that we got different values. So we checked whether d comma e is marked or not. In our case, d comma e was marked. So what we can do is we can then proceed and mark b comma d as 1. It is nothing but it is mentioned in the algorithm itself. If you go through this algorithm, kindly check over here in 4.3 that if both of them are giving different right hand side values, then we check whether r comma s is marked or not. It can be even 1, it can be even 2. Okay, so if it is marked, then we have to mark p comma q as 2. Why 2? Just to differentiate that we have got the answer in step number 4.3 and not 4.2. Clear with this? समझा सबको? Then go back to your table, go back to your box method and mark p comma q. What is p comma q right now? We are discussing about b comma d if I'm not wrong. So go back and highlight the box b comma d as 2. Okay, so this is b comma d, so I'm highlighting this as 2. Clear with this step? Kindly let me know if not. This is the most crucial, this is the most confusing part. Rest everything is very simple. Okay, kindly acknowledge. Yes. So can we move ahead with the remaining unmarked cells? Now you can consider the remaining one, which is AD and AB. So let's consider AD now. Again, follow the same steps, A on 0, D on 0. I'm getting D as output, so I can't take any decision. But with different input, that is A on 1 and D on 1, I'm getting something as CE. So what should I do? I need to check whether CE is marked or not. So go to your box and check whether CE is marked or not. No. As you can see, CE is unmarked. It is currently marked with an X. X को mark नहीं assume करना है. It has to be either 1 or 2. X is not a marking. वो मैंने खुद से लिखा है just to differentiate. If you want, I can remove this. So CE is unmarked. Then what to do? We are going step by step. In the previous case, we saw that DE was, that is R comma S was marked. So we marked P comma Q with 2. But in this case, as we can see that R comma S is still unmarked. Then what has to be done? Any ideas? You can simply go back to your algorithm and check your step number 4 comma 3 once again, 4.3 once again. It is mentioning that if R comma S is marked, then we mark P comma Q as 2. Else, we have to list it together. That is R comma S produces P comma Q. You can write it like this. It simply means we can merge R comma S and P comma Q together. समझ रहा है सबको अभी? If after step 4.3 still your state is unmarked, then we have to list it together. That is, we have to write it like this. R comma S produces P comma Q. That is, C comma E produces A comma D. Right? This is what we call as a merged cell. So basically, C comma E is now merged. merged, A comma D is now merged together. Okay, and I will show you how this merging is done. So for the time being, A comma D will again remain unmarked. So अभी क्या बचा है अपने पास? We are still left with one more unmarked cell which has not been examined further, which has not been examined so far. That is A comma B. Yes or no? We are still left with A comma B. So we need to examine that also. Now let's check with the last cell A comma B. Over here you can see that A on 0 is producing B on 0 is producing D. So we can't take any decision. But what about input 1? A comma 1 is producing C and B comma 1 is producing D. So again it is R comma S. So we need to check whether C comma D is marked or not. Yes, are you following me? I'm just getting answers from 3 or 4 people. What about others? This is the most crucial part. Huh? Don't miss this. So we need to check whether C comma D is marked or not. Kindly go back to your box. We can see that C comma D is marked. Okay. So what we need to do? We simply get the conclusion that R comma S is marked. Hence P comma Q has to be marked with 2. So we'll mark A comma B with a 2. Clear with this? So now we know that our box is complete. Our pyramid is complete. There are only 2 unmarked cells that have been listed together, or I can say that have been now merged together. So at the end, initially we were having 5 states A, B, C, D, E. After this entire algorithmic step, we came to know that C, E, and AD have to be merged together. Basically, simply by looking into the table, also I can simply say that AD over here, check once again. C, E, and AD. Okay. If you look at this table, CD, can we merge it? CD. Sorry, yes. Have a look at once again. CE, sorry. CE and AD. C, E, and AE. We can merge CE directly, right? Because both are having same transitions and both are having final states. Yes, we can merge CE, but can we merge AD? Can we merge AE? I'm just cross-checking my answers. Huh? This is what you used to do. By looking straight into the diagram, into the table, I can say that we can't merge AD. Why? Because both are having different transitions. But now, as C and E are merged together, can't I replace this E with a C? Correct? Yes or no? We can now replace this E with a C, right? Because now C and E are merged together. So wherever there is C is present or wherever there is E is present, we can use them interchangeably. So right now, after merging, I can replace this C with an E, sorry, this E with a C, and then we can do the merging. Yes or no? Then the transitions will become same and both will be non-final states. Am I correct? So initially you couldn't just guess whether this could be merged or not, but after going through all this box method step, you can be sure that now these steps can be merged together. So initially आप बोल सकते हो कि it can be merged easily, we can directly find it out. But what about the computer? The computer can't simply look into the table and assume that so and so can be done. We are not talking about machine learning, we are not talking about deep learning or image processing. The computer is still processing the inputs in terms of zeros and ones in terms of some predefined logic. So what we are doing is we are creating a logic so that the computer can react to it and produce results. So all these steps 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 that we have done so far is just for the computer to understand that so and so logic exists. Clear with this? So kindly complete this algorithm. That is, if cell P comma Q is still unmarked, then repeat the previous steps once again and check whether anything else is possible. Step number 5 is all those cells that are unmarked can be merged together into a single state. That is what we have done so far. What was the remaining one? That is CE and AD were remaining. So we have merged CE and AD respectively. Clear with this? After this step, you need to complete this diagram. That is your final step, step number 5. You have to write it over there on top. The cells that are unmarked can be merged together into a single state. In our case, it is AD and CE. Now you can see I have merged AD together and CD together, and this is what we get at the end. So initially we were having six states, A, B, C, D, E, F. We got uh, five states initially after removing F, and at the end, this is the final diagram that we have got after completing the minimization step using box method. Am I clear with this? This is your final diagram answer you get after completing all those five steps. This is kind of tricky because you need to understand the algorithm first, but if you practice a lot, you will easily find the solution. Am I clear? Kindly let me know. This is what you call as box method, DFA minimization. Clear? Any doubts so far? Please provide. Yeah, Tanvi, actually, I was busy yesterday. I will provide all the remaining lectures and whatever screenshots are possible from my end, I will provide it in Google Classroom, starting from lecture number one. I guess I have provided screenshots for the initial lectures. Whatever is left, I will go through it and send the remaining ones as soon as possible. Okay. Step number five, self loops. Just check the self loops have been removed. I have drawn this diagram based on this only, based on this table only. Kindly check it once again. Yeah, self loops आना चाहिए ना A and D का. Okay, just check this diagram. Complete one table first and then check whether any self loop is possible or not. See what is happening. We have merged these cells, right? So what you can do is मैं यहाँ पे merging करके दिखा देता हूँ. We have merged A, D. So over here, this becomes C, right? And CD is merged together, right? So over here, this is correct. I can CE is merged together. So whatever states are present, let me write it together. Whatever are merged together, let me write it together. So it becomes CE and AD is also merged. So I will remove this. It becomes AD. Okay. Now check. There is no self loop. AD on 0 goes to B, AD on 1 goes to C. AD on 0 goes to B, AD on 1 goes to C. So the self loops are removed. If you see, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4 transitions. And in my case, let me check if any further transition is left. Kindly check your diagram. There are 6 transitions. So what else is left? B on 0 goes to B and B on 1 goes to D. This is left, I guess. B on 0 goes to B. This is left, yeah. And B on 1 goes to C. Anything else is left? I am having 5 transitions right now. One is left, I guess. Just check. AD ka 0 ban gaya, AD ka 1 is there. Yeah, CE ka 1 is left, right? CE on 1. Yeah. Where is it going? Kindly check the table. CE on 1. C on 1 is going to C only. Okay. So there will be a self loop. Correct. So I just forgot to add the self loops. So you can see that it is 1 over here. Correct now? Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so count these transitions. There are three states, so there has to be six transitions because three states and two inputs, right? So in total, there should be six transitions, and this is the final diagram. Clear with this now? Okay. Easy scoring hair questions, but a lot of algorithm is involved. You have to follow step by step and then come to the answer. Clear with this? Any more doubts? Kindly let me know. We can solve the doubts if any, or we can move ahead with the next topic. Okay, clear. Fine. So we are almost reaching the end of module 2. Just two topics left. I will start with one of the topics today. That is what we call as NFA to DFA conversion, direct construction, or in short, it is also called as subset generation step. Okay. अलग अलग नाम है सबके. Don't get confused what exactly it means. Now, can anyone tell me what are the various ways we have converted an NFA into a DFA so far? कौन कौन से टेक्निक्स हमने देखे हैं NFA to DFA conversion के? Kindly let me know. I will write it down over here. What was the first one that we have seen so far? What was classical method all about? Classical method में input was in which type and output was in which type. Arden's theorem is a completely different thing. I'm talking about NFA to DFA. What are the various ways we have seen so far? RE to NFA, okay. The classical method I'm talking about, the very first thing you learned about classical method, right? Yes or no? So classical method was all about RE to DFA, direct conversion हुआ था ना उसमें? Yes or no? First we converted an RE into an NFA, and then from that NFA we got a DFA. Yes or no? This was the first method. So there was no direct construction available in that method, right? Second, we learned today that is box method. Box method is all about we have an FA and we are converting that into a minimized FA. It's a DFA basically. So from a DFA only, we are converting that into a minimized DFA. Yes or no? This is what we have learned so far. So kindly have a look once again. If the question in form of an RE, then we have to go for the classical method, just a revision. That is, we have to first convert that RE into an NFA and that NFA into a DFA. More often, this NFA was in terms of an epsilon NFA. याद है ना सबको? We had converted that RE into an NFA which had epsilon transitions also. Yes or no? So whenever we encounter a problem where we have been given an RE and we need to convert that into a minimized DFA or even a DFA, if not minimized, then also we need to go with the classical method. RE to FA. सिर्फ इतना दिमाग में लेके चलो. Whenever you are asked to convert an RE into an FA, then you have to go with this. Minimization की बात कर रहा हूँ, right? Initially we had seen RE to FA. आपने आप already देखा है Arden's theorem. That's why you might be getting confused Arden's theorem और इसमें. Arden's theorem is a general model. That is, we are converting an RE into an FA. But whenever we are asked to go for the minimization using classical method, we need to first of all convert that RE into an NFA. We draw the diagram for that, and that NFA is then converted into a DFA. Clear with this? Yes, right? So these are the two methods we have seen so far. Now, what about the third method? The third method is also called as subset generation. अभी देखा हम लोगों ने नाम पढ़ा. So subset generation is all about converting an NFA directly into a DFA. Okay, NFA into a DFA. Now this NFA is without epsilon. This is the main difference. First one, classical method is involving an NFA which is having epsilon transitions also. But in this case, the third method, final method for minimizing DFA, that is all about an NFA without an epsilon. Are you understanding the difference? So in totality, we are having these three methods by which we can convert an NFA into a DFA. Now we are going to learn about the third method, which is called as direct NFA construction, direct DFA construction using subset generation. Clear with this? Can we move ahead? This was all about the introduction to this topic. So let's start with this topic. I already have it in a different whiteboard. So again, questions of these sort are asked very few. So I'm going to start with one example and then I will provide you work. Okay. So this is all about the NFA to DFA conversion using subset generation or subset construction. So have a look at it first. If I just unzoom it, you can, and मैं डरा नहीं रहा हूँ, this is just the length of the problem. You just have a look at it because at each step, if it is visible, at each step, we are going to construct the subsets. Very simple it is, but very lengthy. Okay, so you need to practice a lot. Okay, so let me start with this problem. It is basically starting from here. Just for aesthetic appeal, I have written it like this. Otherwise, you can go on writing one after the other. Okay, no issues with that. So this is NFA to DFA conversion. How to do it? Kindly understand the steps. The very first step is if at all we are given an NFA. Okay. Now let's assume that our NFA consists of three states. आपको question में दिया हुआ है. It may be having three states, but what happens is NFA is non-deterministic in nature. Correct? So it can be in any of the following states. Have a look what are those states called as. Let's assume that our NFA is having three states Q0, Q1, and Q2. Samjha? So, as this is an NFA, as this is non-deterministic in nature, it can be present at any point of time in any of these four states. Also, you saw in your previous classical method आपने देखा था there was one set which was called as null set. याद है किसी को? We had seen this. It didn't have any inputs. Okay, so both these steps are very much correlated with each other. So that is what we call as this epsilon, this null symbol as. This is nothing but this can also be represented as a null set. Both of these are same, right? So that is why we can say that our non-deterministic finite automata machine with three states can be present in any of these states as mentioned over here. As you can see, it can be it can be present in the null set, that is the very first combination. The second combination can be it can be present in a singleton set. Singleton set is nothing but a set which is having only a one state. Length of that particular set is one. Similarly, the next combination will be the length of the particular set could be 2. That is, it's basically a combination of Q0, Q1, Q0, Q2, and finally Q1, Q2. Okay. Last will be a set which will be of length 3. So basically length 0, length 1, length 2, and length 3 तक के हमारे set बन सकते हैं. So all these states are possible. So in total, how many states are there? Kindly count and let me know. These are the maximum possible combinations of this NFA. The NFA can be present. NFA with three states can be present at max in 8 various combinations. So that is what we call as a power set. 2 raised to q. That is 2 raised to 3. That is 8. Clear? So an NFA with three states initially can be present in 8 states in the final output. जो हम लोग DFA बनाएंगे that will be having at the max 8 states. कम भी हो सकते हैं but 8 से ज्यादा नहीं होंगे. So basically what we are doing is जो आपका NFA है that is initially non-deterministic in nature, we are converting that into a DFA. Okay, now don't get confused. This is not about minimize DFA. The question कैसा आएगा? Convert an NFA into a DFA. This will be the question. That's why मैंने पिछले लेक्चर में स्टार्ट नहीं किया था. This is not about minimized DFA. This is about NFA to DFA conversion. समझ रहा है सबको? Minimized DFA के दो ही methods available है, classical method and box method. This method is all about converting an NFA into a DFA. Clear with this? Any confusions? Kindly let me know. We have not yet started with this problem. Before starting, I want to clear all the confusions. This method is all about NFA to DFA conversion. This is not at all related to DFA minimization. Otherwise, you would tell me कि initially आपके पास 3 ही state थे, finally you are getting 8 states. So you are intentionally making the machine inefficient. Yes or no? But this is all about converting an NFA, which is non-deterministic in nature, to a machine which will be deterministic in nature. That is, for each state, there will be only two inputs, only two transitions, either 0, 1, A, B, whatever it is. But we are converting that non-deterministic natured machine into a deterministic nature. समझा सबको कि अगर मैं एक input दूंगा to a particular state, it will make only one transition and it will not make multiple transitions at the same time. So basically what we are doing is we are converting the non-deterministic natured machine into a deterministic natured machine. Okay, so now let me answer the question posted by Jyoti. Exam में question कैसे form होता है? Yeah, they don't mention the format. They don't mention which method you have to use. You can just check the question papers I have posted in Google Classroom. The question is all about they ask you to convert this NFA into a DFA. They don't mention which method you have to use, or they may say that there is an RE, you have to convert this RE into a DFA. Now it's you who have to think which method you have to use. Okay, they will only provide you the question, they will only provide you the source input, you have to convert that into the output. Now that is where all the confusion creeps in. अभी तो आप लोग सब एक साथ अलग अलग steps कर रहे हो, तो it's very simple. At the end, when all the 6 modules will be combined, there it will cause a lot of problems because you need a lot of practice that time. Correct? So what I'm planning is after this particular module, I will put up a short test for you. It will be having a combination of all the problems which we have done so far, अलग अलग methods के problems. go through it. That will be considered as an assignment to solve it and then post your answers on Google Classroom. Clear with this? Just for practice purpose, don't get pressurized just for your practice sake. Clear with this? So again, let's start with this particular problem in hand. Any doubts so far? I'm more than welcome to solve those doubts if you're having any. Okay. If not, we can proceed ahead. Okay, thank you so much. So this is the intro of this topic. Now let's focus on the algorithm. The algorithm एक बार read कर लो. Algorithm is very simple. जब actually problem start करेंगे तो step by step it will get clear to you. The procedure for finding whether a given string is accepted by the NFA involves the following. क्या करना है? We have to trace each and every path, okay, followed by the machine for the given string. For every step, we have to keep on following the path. We have to keep on tracing the path and check whether any particular input can be accepted by that machine or not. Step number 2. Don't worry, I'm just reading it out. It will be clear when we actually solve the problem. Okay, step number 2 is all about finding the set of states that are reached from the starting state by applying the symbols on the string. So it's better if I start with the problem, otherwise it's confusing लगेगा. Okay, so ये आपका problem है. This is your problem. This is your NFA given to you. Obviously, this is an NFA. Why? If you can see this in state number Q1, we are having two transitions for input 1. Clear? Okay, sorry for the interruption. So check this diagram. It is basically Q1 is having two transitions for input 1. So straightforward, it is very clear that it is not a DFA. Similarly for Q2, there are two transitions for input 0. So this is not a DFA at all. This is an NFA. The corresponding table for it is being shown over here. This is the table for this NFA we are having in front of us. State number Q0 on input 0 is going to only Q2. So there is only one transition for 0 on state Q0 that is going to Q2. But here we can't write it straight away as Q2 because everything will be in terms of a set this time. So this is the main difference. Whenever you're constructing a table for an NFA, don't write away the states directly. They will be in terms of a state because you never know, there could be combinations of Q2, Q1, as you can see in this particular transition. Right? So whenever you're constructing a table for an NFA, keep in mind, write all of those things inside a set, as we have already seen in classical method. वहाँ पे भी हमने set के अंदर ही लिखा था, if you remember. Right? The same thing is applied over here. Same way, Q0 on input 1. Is there any transition? No. From the table, we can see that there is no transition of input 1 from Q0. Hence, this is a null symbol, or you can simply replace it by this null set, whichever way you're comfortable with. Clear with this? So in the same fashion, I can say that Q1 is not having any transition for 0, but it is having two transitions for 1. That is, we have to write it inside a set. That is, it is going to Q0 as well as it can go to Q2 with input 1. That is what we have written over here. In the same fashion, we can complete the table for Q2. As Q2 is our final state, we have highlighted that with this asterisk mark. Clear? Same fashion, यही हम लोग करते हैं अब तक. Yes or no? Clear with this? Can I move ahead? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. So let's move ahead with the next step. Now what we need to do is, we need to now expand. Whichever state is having multiple transitions, we need to expand that into multiple states. ये चीज दिमाग में लेके चलो कि initially there were 3 states, but as you saw that the 3-stated machine is an NFA. We need to convert that into a DFA. So at some point of time, you will encounter that the number of states are going to increase. Obviously, because you can see that Q2 is having two transitions. So we have to make separate Q2s, one with input 0 and the one with input 1, right? So that we can convert this NFA into a DFA looking structure. Clear? So obviously your states are going to increase. Don't worry. Whenever you see the final result, you will see that wow, it is very huge as compared to this NFA. It is going to happen like that only because as we saw that for 3 states initially, and NFA is, if it is having three states, at the end you will maximum get a machine with eight states. So it might be quite possible that at this point of time, initially you're having three stated machine, but at the end you might have a machine with eight states also. Okay, so don't worry at all. We are simply converting an NFA into a DFA. That's it. Okay, so let's now move ahead step by step. According to our algorithm, the steps are like this. We have to always start with our initial state, that is Q0. If Q0 is my initial state, I have to make two successor states. That is why we call it successor generation method. What is this concept of successor? Have a look at it carefully. We are starting with Q0. So I will write one thing over here, zero successor of Q0. It is very simple. Zero successor of Q0 is nothing but transition of Q0 on input 0. Can you see it over here? Zero successor of Q0 is nothing but where does the state Q0 go if the input is a 0? Am I clear? That is what we call as a zero successor of Q0. Is it clear? Kindly let me know. We still have 10 minutes time. I will drop in the attendance link after 5 minutes. Till then, stay focused. Zero successor of Q0 is nothing but the transition of Q0 on input 0. Where does it go? Kindly check your table. Q0 on input 0 goes to Q2. So we can say that zero successor of Q0 is Q2. Am I clear with this particular thing over here? Kindly reciprocate. Okay. Okay. Cool enough. So next step is one successor of Q0. So again, you need to check your table. Where does Q0 go with input 1? Similarly, it goes to 5, or we can say null. Okay. So I can say that one successor of Q0 is a null set. That is, transition of Q0 on 1 is going to null. So we need to create a state which will be accepting nulls. Okay, I have forgotten one over here. So simply draw this successor after step number 1. Okay, that is why the question is lengthy, because you have to draw the diagrams after each step. Have a look. This is your initial state Q0. So for input 0, it is going to Q2, because from the top we got that successor, zero successor of Q0 is Q2. So you have to draw a transition from Q0 to Q2 with input 0. In the same fashion, one successor of Q0 is null. So you have to add a state null over here. So I can say that like binary trees have leaf nodes, child nodes, this is sort of same as that. So Q0 will be the root node, Q2 and 5 will be the child nodes of Q0, or the successor nodes of Q0. Clear with this? Now you may be asking why I have added the 0 and 1 transition over here. As you know, we are constructing a DFA. It should have all the input transitions associated with it. अगर मैं यहाँ पे कुछ transition डालता ही नहीं, then it won't be called as a DFA. As you know that once a machine enters into a 5 state or a null state, it gets trapped over there. So this is nothing but a dead state. If you remember the concepts we have done so far, yes or no? Sorry, dead state. Am I clear? So once the machine enters into this 5 state, it gets trapped. That is what we call as a dead state. This is our step number 1. That is, we have got the child nodes or the successor nodes. Can we move ahead? अभी हमें क्या करना है? We now would require to find the successor nodes of Q2. Yes or no? Because we can't find a successor node of 5 or null set because it is already a dead state. So there is no point finding out the successor of that dead state. So we will move towards finding out the successor of this particular state, which is called as Q2. Clear with this? Let's move ahead. I will just introduce you how to carry on ahead. So what we can say is the statements are very important. A new subset Q2 is generated. Okay, new subset Q2 is generated. So successors of Q2 will now have to be generated. Because Q2 was the successor of Q0, so now we need to generate the successors of Q2 this time. Clear with this? So how to do it? Again, the same technique. Don't look at the diagram first. Have a look at this step. We need to first of all find out the zero successor of Q2 and then followed by the one successor of Q2. Again, you need to check the table. For this, what will be the zero successor of Q2? Check the table, Q2. Do we have any zero successor for Q2? Yes. This is the zero successor of Q2 and this is the one successor of Q2. Yes? Am I clear? Kindly let me know. Okay. So now simply replace those over here. So zero successor of Q2 is nothing but Q0, Q1, and one successor of Q2 is Q0. So what you need to do now is simply add those transitions over here. So from Q2, whenever we are having an input 0, we have to make a transition to Q0, Q1. Are we having a state Q0, Q1? We were not having so far. So now we need to construct that new state Q0, Q1. Am I clear? So हमें एक एक स्टेप में बढ़ाते हुए जाना है अपने डायग्राम को. So now we are going to add this new state Q0, Q1, which will be nothing but a successor of Q2 on input 0. Similarly, Q2 on input 1 goes to Q0. We are already having a Q0 transition, Q0 state, so we don't need to add one more Q0. We can simply make a transition back to Q0 on input 1. Am I clear with this? समझा सबको ये? Okay, this is how we need to keep on going until we don't get any new successors. Okay, let me drop in the attendance link, and if time permits, I will complete this. Okay, don't worry, we'll complete this question whenever we'll meet next time. I will go through it once again. If possible, I will drop in few questions in Google Classroom also for practice purpose. Okay, so after we are done with this, we still have 3 minutes, so let me go through it once again. This is the result of your step number 2. Now what we should do is, we should now try to find out the successors of Q0, Q1, because this is a new set which is generated, new state which is generated. So we should carry on the practice and we should try to find out the successors of Q0, Q2, sorry, Q0, Q0, Q1 that we have got it over here, right? So the same thing you need to do it is, what is the difference between this and the previous step? I will look carefully. Zero successor of Q0, Q1 will be, do we have a transition for Q0, Q1 yet in our table? Are we having Q0, Q1 in our table, initial table? No. We don't have Q0, Q1 state over here. है क्या अपने पास? नहीं है. So what we can do is, have a look once again. Zero successor of Q0, Q1 is nothing but, have a look carefully over here. It is nothing but transition of Q0 on 0 union Q1 on 0. अभी आपको याद होगा, I had told you that epsilon closure of Q0, Q1 is nothing but epsilon closure of Q1 union epsilon closure of Q0. याद है? Do you remember? Yes or no? Yes. So the same thing is happening over here. We need to check transition of Q0 on 0 union transition of Q1 on 0. So now we have transition of Q0 on 0 in our table. Similarly, we have transition of Q1 on 0 in our table, initial table. So from that, we came to know that it is nothing but Q2 and it is nothing but epsilon or null. So what we can do is Q0 union null is nothing, sorry, Q2 union null is nothing but Q2 only. Here, so that is the final result of zero successor of Q0, Q1. Clear? In the same fashion, you can go with one successor of Q0, Q1 and then keep on proceeding with this answer until we get a final value where no more successors can be found out. Clear with this? So let me stop this lecture here and we can continue doing it in our next lecture. Thank you so much. Do drop in your attendance, and then we can stop this lecture. Okay, thank you.